Michael Poynton on stage at the Paris Studio in London's West End, introducing the man who's made the world laugh for 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Norman Wisdom. Well, Norman, we're into films now, and I'd like you to talk about that peerless straight man, Jerry Desmond, who was in so many of your pictures. He was rather special, wasn't he?
He was really a marvellous actor. I never got a chance. He was straight man to various comedians like the great Sid Field and so forth, but he never really... But he was a lovely fellow and really down to earth. I always used to... when we were doing Where's Charlie, for instance, together, the lady at the stage door used to make us a cup of coffee and all that, but Jerry Desmond always... Sounds silly, but he always used to bring a lump of cake from me and a lump of cake from him that his wife had made. Always bring cake, and we had to eat it, otherwise we wouldn't get any more.
Well, look, let's hear you with Jerry Desmond here in Follow a Star. You work in the dry cleaners, and in comes a big singing star.
Oh, good morning. What are your charges for steaming and pressing a tail suit?
For you, Mr. Carew? Nothing.
You recognize me?
Of course. Well, everyone knows Vernon Carew. Aristocrat of song. Starring at the Hippodrome this week.
You're very well informed.
Well, I'm in your line.
Really? And what are you, a conjurer?
No.
Juggler?
No. Go on.
Strongman?
You're sending me up, aren't you? Go on, try again.
Trick cyclist?
No, the same as yourself. A singer.
Ho, where the deers and the antelopes play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the stars shoot and shiver all day. Don't know the worst property yet, but I'm learning them. Of course, that's going to be one of my repertoire.
Good.
Because I go 3 evenings a week to elocution and all that, and I'm learning to sing, and I'm going to speak nicer.
Well, it is advisable.
Norman Wisdom and Jerry Desmond in Follow a Star. Did you enjoy making that picture with him?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what's an amazing thing about it? He was so immaculate and so fastidious with his clothing and all that sort of thing. We did a scene, which was in Follow a Star, where I'd been to the dry cleaners and I cleaned his suit and brought it round to the dressing room, and he's sitting at the mirror there making up. And I said, oh, can I watch? Then can I have a look at you? And so he said, well, yes, all right, but just sit down. So, and I'm looking at him and I said, cool, that's good, and it makes you look younger, doesn't it? And he said, oh, thanks so much. I said, mind you, your hair's going a bit grey, isn't it? He said, but no, not really. And he said, just around the edge. I said, well, round the edge and on top. And he said, well, it won't notice. I said, well, no, I mean, why don't you put a bit of that stuff on it? You know, what they call it, dye. See, he said, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. I said, well, he said, I don't know anybody. I said, well, I used to be working in a barber's shop. I could do it for you. Oh, he said, really? And he had a bottle of dye this. So he said, well, that's very kind of you. And mind, he was dressed at that time in his full evening dress with white shirt and tie, ready to go on stage, and he just put the last of makeup. So I said, well, this won't take a minute, and I took the bottle, and on his head, and the cork came out. It went all over him, all round, and really, and so he was marvellous, because what acting, he just went... Pentecost, as the director said, cut, and Jerry was still going. And he wasn't kidding. The guy. To kill me. But he didn't expect as much as that, is he?
On a slightly happier note, I believe you wrote the title song for that film.
Oh, yes. I'll follow... Yes, I did.
Well, shall we hear it now?
Please. Oh, yeah. Want to hear the Follow Star? Yes. Lovely lyrics. I follow a star, but I'm in heaven already. Now I'm going steady with you.
my life will revolve around you. I'll try to aspire to all the things you require in the man of your dream. I know I'm not the best suitor, but your zest as a tutor is truly supreme. I'll take my degree, and then I'll study so much harder to prove that my ardor is true. I'll follow a star if the star that I follow is you. I'll follow a star if the star that I follow is you.
Title song from Follow a Star. While you were making all those films for rank, Norman, you still managed to keep up your stage work.
I was doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
Filming all day, and then I used to get picked up, fast car, bring him back to the Palladium, and leave at about 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I was on stage at 6:15 at the Palladium, and we arrived back one day, and I'm still in a little suit and the cap, and there was a traffic jam at Marble Arch. And I've got about 10 minutes to go before I'm on stage, and I had to get out to this car and just run along Oxford Street. And I did. I really had to run, and it's amazing because there's people shouting out, "Hey, look! Hey, Norman! Hey, Mr. Grimstyle!" Shouting, yes. And I went on stage like this. But I wasn't late, and I've never been late. I've never missed a show in just over 40 years, and I've never been late for an There was the other one I'll tell you about, Mike. The one where, because I'm at the Palladium still at this time, and they had a premiere of a film of mine called Man of the Moment down in Leicester Square. And I thought, well, I'll be able to get down there. I said to the stage manager, I'm going to nip down to... He said, you can't. He said, there's 20 minutes between shows, and he said, you're not back in time. We'll go rave. I said, no, I've got to go, because it's the premiere. He said, you can't go. Anyway, I waited until he went around the corner, and I put a notice on my dressing room door, gone to pictures, back in 10 minutes. And I went down there, and I even did an appearance on stage quick, and then got a cab, and the band is playing my introductory music as I ran in the stage door, and he's standing there saying, "Oh, Norman, oh, Norman." And I was on all again, but I did it.
What about that time you had trouble with the curtains at the Palladium as well? That was a good story.
But people don't know, not many people know this, not even in show business, but the curtains of the London Palladium are really, they're controlled by water power. Really, water power. And one night I'm on stage with Jerry Desmond, dear old Jerry, and we're doing a sketch. And the curtains started to... The front tab curtains, this is the tabs they call them. What do they call them? Tabs, that's right. And they started to slowly come in like this, and Jerry's going... And then we found there was a water pipe burst out in the main street. And of course that's letting the air in and these curtains are coming down. So the sketch is going, you know, I forget what we were doing exactly, but saying that you guys wouldn't have the vote, right? And in fact, we're getting quicker and quicker and moving about. Now, by this time, the stage manager's shouting, hurry up. So the curtains are closing now, a foot, a few inches, and my head just finished the last line. Oh, dear, oh, dear. The amazing thing is that the audience thought that was it, see? We never tried it again.
Well, of course, you and Jerry both went into that marvellous musical Where's Charlie, Norman? How did you get into that? Tell us a bit about that stage musical.
I got into that the second time round. Because
really?
When I was at the Prince of Wales Theatre doing Paris to Piccadilly, Henry Hall had some American people came over because he wanted to get the rights of Where's Charlie and do it, and he fancied me as doing it. And so I had to go to the American people at Golders Green Hippodrome and do an audition. And they didn't think much of it, frankly, so I didn't get the job. About 18 months to 2 years later, Bernard Delphont said to me, I'm going to do Where's Charlie and you're in, Norman. And I went to do Where's Charlie. Wonderful. You're going to play any of it?
Yes, let's hear this charming song called... Well, it's called My Darling, My Darling.
My darling, my darling, I've wanted to call you my darling for many and many a day. My darling, I fluttered and fled like a starling. My courage has melted away. Then all at once you kissed me, and there's not a thing I'm sane enough to say, except my darling, my darling, get used to that name of my darling. It's here to stay.
The lovely songs from Where's Charlie?
Well, Norman, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today.
You'll be here again next week, won't you?
You try and stop me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norman Wisdom.
Norman Wisdom has been dispensing a wealth of wisdom in conversation with Michael Poynton, who also researched the programme. A Wealth of Wisdom is produced by Edward Taylor.